There are all sorts of little things we can do. I've organized these slides, I should have said that from the outset, to run from things that cost you nothing, like planting trees and vines and opening and closing your windows and closing your blinds, to things that cost a little bit, to things that cost a lot but are a good investment. I fully recognize that I can't preach that everyone go out and buy a $1,200 dishwasher and washing machine because it saves a lot of energy and water and detergent, because many of you don't have that disposable money. And I understand that, and I recognize that. So I've tried to show how there are so many things we can do that cost nothing or very little, and then others, if we have the money, if we can have access to the money, we can make good investments. Let there be light, not heat. On a summer day, often our windows are a source of heat. In summer, we don't want that. Can we put awnings outside to keep the sun from penetrating and overheating the house? That's a great way of air conditioning. Can we use blinds? Can we, in winter, leave those as open as possible so that, in fact, we want the sun to penetrate and to warm the house? I'm just going to run very quickly through a few appliances that you've seen. Dishwashers, washing machines, they now exist that use a third of the energy, a third of the water, a third of the detergent. They run more quietly. The dishes get cleaner. The laundry is cleaner and gets spun almost dry by the time it comes out. The front-loading washing machines now. So even if you have to use a dryer, you can use it for a shorter period, far more effective. Look for these. Ask questions of the appliance sellers. Many of them are now coming labeled. Read the label. Here's a fridge with an Energy Star label. Read the label. Ask questions. It's amazing what kind of impact you'll start to have when you ask questions. I'm now finishing up. Fireplaces that actually close, that are airtight, so that you're heating rather than just drawing cold air into your house. Hot water heaters, most of them have a dial where when you go away for the weekend or on vacation, you can turn it right down so you're not storing a whole lot of hot water that no one's using. Or you can switch to an on-demand water heater which only heats the water as the cold water passes through and only when you need it. Highly efficient, use less than half the energy. These are very common in Europe, and many people are probably smiling and saying, what's this guy talking about? Well, we live in North America where we have top-loading washing machines that make a lot of noise and a lot of swishing and don't clean your clothes and use a lot of energy, and we have hot water heaters which heat water when everybody's away for a month. So, transportation choices. We can't use a bicycle all the time. We can't ride a bus all the time, but can we ask ourselves as we step out the door every morning, what's the best choice for today? There are times when you can, and the number of stories I hear from people saying, I ride my bike not because it makes me feel morally superior, not entirely because I'm saving greenhouse gases, but because it gets me out there, it gets me part of the community, I feel good when I'm doing it, it gives me time to meditate over what have I got to do today when I get there, time to decompress, what did I just go through at work today before I get home and shout at my family and kick the cat. So I don't do any of those things, none of which I advocate. And public transportation. And then we go up to the level, if we use them, they will be built. That's a strange way of saying, if they build them, the people will come. That's true. If we use what we've got now to capacity, our decision makers will recognize that we need more of it. The home, yes, I'm going as quickly as I can here. There's things we can do to our home, from blowing in more insulation, drilling holes in the wall, blowing insulation into the gaps, making your home not only much warmer in winter, but much cooler in summer by keeping those extreme temperatures out of your house and the more agreeable temperatures in. So even if you need air conditioning, you need less of it because your home is that much better insulated. Geothermal options. Digging down into the ground. This is a development just down Bank Street here in Ottawa. Ecocité is a condominium development. It will be almost entirely heated by geothermal pipes. They go down into the ground. They capture the temperature of the earth, the steady temperature. They bring it up. They top up the temperature inside the unit, and then it goes back down again. It helps to use a natural source of heating and cooling in a very efficient way. And for those of us who can, that's my house and my solar-powered office on the left there, and there is a solar-powered community built for the Sydney Olympics in Sydney, Australia on the right, heating water and creating electricity from solar energy. At work, this doesn't just have to stay at home. You can look at, can I use a laptop rather than a big desktop? If I do use a desktop, can I buy the most efficient one? Can I buy one that goes to sleep when I step away or when I fall asleep in front of it for a few minutes so it's not actually running? Can I use the most efficient printer possible? All of these things you can take to your workplace. The bravest and most important thing any of us can do is to actively imagine a much better future. To imagine it as a reality. To try to see it whole, to lovingly dwell on its details, and to see ourselves walking through it one day. Someone said back the very first session, what's missing? Several things. Political will and imagination. If we cannot imagine a better world, we are certainly not going to get there, and we may not even take the first step because we'll say to ourselves, it's not possible. I can't make a difference, so really it's not worth trying. So I'm going to close with one question to all of you. Who has done at least one of the things that I've shown today? I like to start with an inclusive question. I think that's everyone. I learned to do it this way around rather than the other. Who thinks they've done about half of the things I've recommended? Well, this is a great audience. Who thinks they've done about 90% of those? Excellent, excellent. And I do that not for one moment to guilt people who haven't, but to show you that people who you know, people who are around you already, are already heroes. You're already a hero if you've taken one step. And you can keep being a hero when one step leads to another step, leads to whole systemic changes. If I've been good today, you'll want to go out and do some of the things you haven't yet, and you'll want to do it more lightly. Thank you.